Hello, everyone. Welcome to Avaya's Healthy Aging Curriculum. I'm Andy Anderson. My partner, Ike Allen, and I are teachers, mentors, and the co-owners of Avaya University. Avaya is the creator of over 1,000 books, films, courses, teachings, and other supportive resources. Thank you so much for joining us. Our fellow teacher, Dr. Stephen Weiniger, is here today to talk about how to stand taller and live longer, a posture and anti-aging strategy to feel good and look even better. He helps people stand taller with something called strong posture to get out of pain, to move better and age well. TV, radio, and online media calls him the posture expert. His company Body Zone created an app called Posture Zone that helps people track their posture over time. And he has trained certified posture exercise professionals throughout the US as well as 29 other countries to help people strengthen how they stand, sit, and move with strong posture. So thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you for having me, Andy. It's a pleasure to chat.
Yes, absolutely. And this is a really important topic. I'm so glad that we could do this and incorporate this into this event. So since you are the posture expert, like how does our posture affect our overall health?
In many ways, beginning with what your grandmother told you. Stand up. Your body functions better, and you know it instinctively, but your habit has trained you in a different direction. But from a health point of view, there's been studies showing that as we age, as posture collapses and breaks down, which is the common stereotype of aging, someone being old, the more someone's posture flexes as they grow older, the earlier they die. And it's a big difference. University of London did one study and they found there was a 63% higher likelihood of having heart disease for people that lost more height over a 20-year study. And that's one of the problems with posture. It's not a thing that happens today, kind of like your blood pressure or stress or lots of other long-term health indicators. It's something that you learn to live with and that becomes your normal. Mm-hmm. And your body adapts and changes and you think that's all there is. And that's why it's exciting when you start strengthening posture, because people can feel the difference beginning with how they can breathe. I mean, and when I lecture to groups and audiences, both in the public and professionals, a demo that I like to show them is this: freeze. You're sitting right now. You're sitting there listening to me. Don't move, and just be aware that you're sitting there, not moving. And now do one more thing. Take a deep breath in, and notice how much air you get. Now, try to strengthen your posture. Listen to my words and I'll take you through a beginning strong posture focusing on posture zones. First, try to sit up with what feels like tall. And then with that, pull your belly in just a little bit. And that's activating the core. And we're going to come back to that along the way, but open your torso, because your torso is a big part of the core. If your body is folded, you can't open it. Kind of makes sense. Now lift your shoulders up, move them all the way back. Keep them back and move them down. And lift your head up and level your head. And take a deep breath in again. Any difference?
Yeah, more.
Breathing's a good thing.
Yeah.
And one of the things that happens is if your body gets used to being folded, the muscles get tighter in that direction. And that affects all the visceral organs. It's not just your lungs. People that have more flexed posture have a higher incidence of diabetes. Heart disease is a big part of it. And digestion. I mean, heck, if you ever go out to eat and after the meal, if your belt's a little bit tight, when you loosen it, it feels better. If you're folding your abdomen all day, every day, things don't work as well.
Mm-hmm. Makes perfect sense.
And it's also very true. And it's also not appreciated, which is why I when we make people stop and become mindful of their body and teach them how to strengthen the subtleties, it's amazing some of the feedback we get from people.
Strengthen the subtleties. I love that. Well, tell me, like what kind of feedback do you get from people when you help them strengthen the subtleties?
Our primary audience that I usually teach to is other professionals. I do continuing education for professionals, chiropractors and therapists and others that work with people in a hands-on way, massage people. And We usually do a 2-day seminar, and at the beginning of the second day, we usually start with, does anybody feel any different? Any muscle soreness, any pain, anything different? And we do it in a very flat way, where we're not trying to tell them what to say, we're saying different. And there's usually 1 or 2 people that have some muscle soreness when things are working in ways that they haven't ever worked it, and that's a good thing. And there's people that every time we do it, just about, there'll be 2 or 3 people that, I always wake up with a headache in the morning, and I don't know why, but this morning I felt great. Or yesterday, when I came in, my back was bothering me, and after driving home, I noticed that my back felt great, and this morning I woke up and I don't have the normal achiness that I have in the morning. And that's part of the problem. The perception of it being a normal headache or normal achiness presupposes that it's normal. It's not normal to hurt. It's normal to hurt if your body is being strained or stressed or damaged. And it's an indicator of what collapsing posture is doing to how your body's functioning, which feeds directly into effective aging. Because when you get older, you don't need to have everything going on that's a problem. It's the weakest thing that gives you the problem. So the more you can keep your posture strong, the more that supports everything else in your health and everything else. Not just your health, but your attitude, the way you look at the world.
Absolutely. Yeah. The psychology of, right, if we walk in a room and our head is held high, as opposed to we're walking in a room like this, I think that does wonders in the world of psychology, right?
Tremendous. There's been a bunch of stuff about somatic awareness and embodied mindfulness in terms of how you look at how the world looks at you and how you look at yourself. Even from a linguistic point of view, when you look at the language, he's got his head on straight. He looks kind of downcast. Right. And when you see people in those kinds of posture, you know what someone's mood is by how they look. From a character point of view, she's centered. She's a stand-up woman. That means something rather than it's kind of shifty. He looks kind of crooked. Our language has developed because people will unconsciously display what they're thinking with how they behave. And the flip side is also true. When you become mindful of it and aligning your body with reality, which is what posture is about, and strengthening your ability to control it, you're strengthening your control, you're strengthening your awareness. These are things that are important to be healthy across life for everybody.
I love that. I love that we're tying it into, right, not only like physical health and all of the things, like you said, lower risk of like heart disease and stuff, but yeah, also just like, how do we feel about ourselves? What do others think of us? How are we perceived by the world, and how do we perceive ourselves? That's beautiful. So one other thing related to physical health, what about falling as we get older? I know it seems to be that most of us as we get older, like you hear stories of someone falling and breaking their hip. My grandma, right, when she hit 90, I think she fell and broke her pelvis. It's a very common thing. So is there a link between posture and our risk of falling as we get older?
Tremendous, huge, underrated as focus, and the most important point is actionable. Because there's a difference between, if this is going on, you've got a problem and it's going to be bad and you can't do anything about it. And you can do something about it, but the sooner you start doing something about it, the better. So yes, and there's been multiple studies correlating loss of posture alignment, which is only part of the real story, with weakening balance, increased incidence of falls, which is different from weakening balance. And most importantly, really cool study found that people, they looked at, I think it was 804 people over 70, and they broke them into 4 groups: people that were leaning forward from head to torso, a little bit more, and a whole bunch. And they basically put numbers to it. When they compared the people that were leaning forward the most compared to leaning forward the least in their perception of, yes, I'm standing tall, over the next 4 years, those people had a 3.5 times greater likelihood of needing assistance with normal activities of daily living. What that means is feeding yourself, getting up out of bed, going to the bathroom by yourself, getting in and out of a chair by yourself. 3.5 times. There's a huge correlation between maintaining vertical body structure and being able to control it versus not being able to control it and falling down. So yeah, strengthening posture is a path to reducing fall risk, and we're looking at some things from a research basis on that right now. That's one of the many projects on my plate.
Awesome. Thank you. So for our viewers right now, how do we tell if we have a strong posture or a weak posture or somewhere in the middle? Like, how do we know?
The beginning of that is, what is posture? And to take a step back even from that question, people tend to look at posture as simply the alignment of how straight I am. And that's part of posture, absolutely. But when you think about it, it's not just the alignment that's important, because your posture is how you're moving. If when you stop and you thought about it, you could stand up straight and move well. But then whenever you went to walk or move or do life, you were moving your body in a distorted way. You would be training your muscles to be functioning in that distorted way, and they would get better at moving in that distorted way. And the beginning of how you're moving when you're moving through life is how you're balancing. So this is a trick question that we ask people. It's a trick question. If I'm standing here with my body all crooked and I'm standing up, on an overall biomechanical basis, is my body balanced?
I don't know. Setting me up for the trick question.
I'm telling you, it's a trick question. But and the answer that it's funny because when you do this in front of an audience, people say, "But it's not straight." But he told me it's a trick question. So what's the answer?
Exactly. Yes. I'm thinking too hard.
well, that's what we tend to make a lot of assumptions in life. The question was, on an overall biomechanical basis, if I'm standing here, well, heck, if I'm standing here, I'm not falling down. Mm-hmm. Therefore, the physical structure that you're looking at, Dr. Weiniger's body, is balanced. It's visually crooked. Well, why is it not falling down? You're doing something to maintain that. You're not thinking about it, but you are doing it. How do you know that? You're not falling down.
Right.
and at the end of the day, when you mentioned the book that I wrote, Stand Taller, Live Longer, has 5 posture principles. And if you've seen a CPAP, you've seen posters about this on the wall, something that they talk about, because it's a way of understanding and looking at everything postural in life. The second posture principle is, your posture is how you balance your body. It's what your body is doing when you're not thinking about it to maintain verticality. So the first, to answer the question that I kind of took you a long way around on, how do you know the strength of your posture, is you test it. And the test that we suggest is what we call a one-leg balance test, of trying to stand tall, holding what feels like you're standing tall, and lifting up one leg so your thighs parallel to the ground, and holding that for 20, 30 seconds that you can. If not, put it down when you need to. And then do the same thing on the other side, lifting the other leg up, holding that, and then putting it back down. And after you do that, ask 2 questions. Were you able to hold it the same distance, the same duration on both times? Was your balance better or worse on one side? And the second question is, did it feel the same on both sides? If you're doing 2 different things, when you stop and focus on it, you become aware that, well, yeah, I'm doing this on one side, I'm doing that to balance it on that side. And that's the beginning of a window into the subtle asymmetries that have become your background normal of how you balance it. Becoming aware of a problem is the first step to affecting it and changing it. So that's to me how you become aware of your balance. The second way to become aware of your overall basic alignment is taking a posture picture. And for that, we designed the Posture Zone app. It's a free app for the public, and you can basically take a picture and measure where your head, your torso, your pelvis is over where you're standing, and measure the degrees of deviation from center line, from the front and from the side. And there's other things that professionals use it for as well, from an ergonomic point of view, from a sports point of view, because from a fall risk point of view, because posture affects all of those things.
Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that. And is that something people can just go to, like, for Android,
Google
right? Google Play or
Android,
whatever.
Google Play on Android, or the App Store on iOS, the iPhone or iPad.
Okay, awesome. That's
And
awesome.
it's a free app, and we put it out there as part of the posturemonth.org initiative to make people aware that posture is important. And everybody should have an annual posture picture. Would you be curious to see what your posture looked like 5 years ago and 10 years ago if you took a standardized picture and
Yeah.
looked at it? And that's what the app does. It lets you keep that in a specific, just in that app, and you can mark it up so you can measure what your body looks like today versus once upon a time.
So is it you know, you mentioned like normal a little bit ago, right? That pain is really not normal unless your body is right trying to compensate or trying to do something to help you in some way, like, right, increase your posture. So as we age, it would appear that many people start to hunch over more, or, you know, is that actually normal, or is that is that not normal? Is it, if you have good posture, can you avoid that for until you're gone? I asked.
Coincidentally, yesterday I watched the State of the Union. Regardless of your politics involved, there was a gentleman that was one of the Tuskegee Airmen, that he was just turned 100 years old. And if you looked at his posture, they had him stand up and down 3 times, which I thought was not nice to do. But and everyone was clapping both sides of the aisle. It's a good thing. But go back and look at the picture and look at his posture. He's like this. If you've ever, I don't know if you've ever cut down a tree. Have you ever done that?
Yeah, absolutely. A
Okay.
few times. My
Okay.
partner Ike and I have felled a few trees together.
Okay, and we've done things like that too. And if you think about it, when you take a tree, when it starts to fall, when it finally starts to go, it goes like this a little bit, and then it still goes faster and faster. And the last 30 degrees, it's going zooming down because it goes boom, it goes slow, 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 fast, 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 flying down. And the reason for that is where it's balancing versus when it's tall. Okay, all the weight is going straight down. As it deviates from being straight, there's an angle. The more that angle is, the more force there is going this way. That's accelerating it that way. As it keeps on going that way, there's a greater displacement, more force, and it accelerates further. So the problem that happens when people start to fold forward with what we call collapsing posture, on a macro point of view, on a whole body point of view, is as they start to go forward a little bit, they're using more muscles to hold them forward, and other muscles aren't working, and that's straining the body. It makes pain, but it also keeps on going in that direction because there's more force going in that direction.
Got it.
The more you can keep your body, that's why the name of the book was Stand Tall or Live Longer. It's not be tall. It's not have good posture. It's in your mental perception, stacking those head, torso, pelvis, the posture zones, over where you're standing, more towards vertical, will make you taller, because the more they zigzag, the more the whole system collapses. The more they're out of alignment, the shorter the whole system is. So getting your body longer means literally stacking everything along the way to do it.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So what about, this is, you know, kind of sort of related, but a little bit separate. What about that, the infamous, what we're learning now is text neck, right? So many of us are down in our phones texting and constantly have this forward facing cervical spine. So any suggestions for people there on how to help with that? Of course, the one obvious would be on your phone less, but any other suggestions?
And now getting back to reality.
Right. Yes. And now that.
And that's my point about solution. People can preach, you should do this, but if people aren't going to do it, then it's just that. Number one, it's being pathologized a little bit, but it really is a huge problem. And when I say pathologized, your body does what you tell it to do. If you tell your body to do this, it gets better at doing this. I worked with a lot of people in a coal mine, and one project that we did, because not surprisingly, they spent all day long hunched over, and they had a number of health issues. And we got them doing some postural exercises, because, okay, you've got to do this during part of your day. Got it. But if you're doing this, you should also be doing something else to counteract it. In terms of the question you asked directly, how can you use a phone? The question that I think should be asked is, how can I use my phone more intelligently to minimize the folding of my body? So the answer to that would be what you did. Instead of putting your head down to your device, if I can.
Yeah.
Okay. If I'm looking at my device, if I'm looking down at it like this, if I'm looking down like that, I'm folding my body and my head is further away from the center of my mass. If I did that same setup that I did with you at the beginning of shoulders up, back, and down to open my chest up and kept my elbows into my side, then I have to lift my phone up to my face and I can look like this instead of looking down.
Got it.
The problem with that is it takes some muscular effort to do that. It's lazier to slump down, especially if you haven't strengthened those muscles to be able to do that.
Got it.
And that's why it becomes very much a virtuous spiral of the awareness of what you could be doing and the control to do it.
Got it. Awesome. Thank you. So what about like a brace? Some people wear like a posture brace is I think what they call it, obviously to keep those shoulders back and all of that. Is that a good idea? Do you suggest that?
No, I'm deciding on whether to have a snarky response of it's good for business from a chiropractor's or a therapist point of view. But I'm not going to say that right now. No, it's a bad idea because it will feel better. It'll take some of the load off. It's like, I don't have to work anymore.
Right.
But what happens to muscles when you don't work them?
Atrophy.
If you've ever broken a bone and had a cast taken off, if you've ever seen an old person work with someone from a falls point of view that they give a walker to or a cane to, once people start flexing forward, they don't start to stand up. You're giving somebody a crutch. Once upon a time, back in the 90s, in a lot of the workplaces, Home Depot especially adopted this big time. You saw all the people having a back brace.
Right.
And they had the little straps on with the back brace. And the initial, and I'm showing my age with this, but the initial implementation of that was keep it on tight all the time to support it and keep your body strong. And then injury rates went up because the muscles got weaker. Then the marketing pitch became, well, don't make it loose, just have it with you. And when you back to lift something up that's heavy, then put it on. And the rates still kept on going up. When you go to Home Depot now, do you ever see people wearing those things?
No, I haven't in a while.
Because if you weaken a muscle, it gets weaker, the problems go up. So I think braces are, if you're selling braces and you make money from people that want to buy a quick solution that looks like it sounds good, then they're wonderful. If you're fixing the people, it's frustrating because if you're a healer and trying to help people, you don't want them to have the problem. You want to fix the cause of the problem. And when they cause their own problem, it's frustrating.
Yes. Awesome. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. So like, what about, I'm thinking also of people who have desk jobs or right. As I sit here at my computer, you seem like you might be standing. So, suggestions for people who do have a desk job, like types of things we should sit on, yoga balls, chairs. Should we just be standing? Should we be going back and forth? What do you think?
I'm embarrassed to show you my office, but right now I'm standing. And the number one thing that we suggest is a sit-stand desk, a desk that goes up and then down, and then up and then down. If the ability to change the height, and one thing that I find during the day is I'll usually move it. I'll start the day sitting down. I'll move it up when I have a tea break lunchtime, at mid-morning. After lunch, I put it back down, and then I put it back up in the afternoon to keep it moving. So a desk that goes up and down. A higher up chair is a good thing, a chair that moves around. There's a lot of different kinds of wobble chairs. I have one right over here that I sit on when I'm sitting at a desk. In addition, I don't know if you can see this, but
Oh yeah,
Like in
I see
the
it.
corner, there's a ball that I will talk on. If I'm talking on the phone a lot of time, I'll be sitting on the ball. The thing about sitting on a ball is you want to do it with, again, strong posture. If you're collapsing into it, it creating the problem. But one of the things that we use in the strong posture protocols is balls to help strengthen people's posture as part of what we call a BAM 3-2-1 strong posture routine, strengthening, balance, alignment, motion. A lot of times, if you call me and we're talking on the phone, I'll be sitting on the ball and talking on the phone with my AirPods, and I'm not exercising hard, but I'm keeping my body moving. So
Right.
anybody, keep your body moving. Your body's designed to move. That's the first posture principle.
I love it. I love moving. So I love that first posture principle.
Well, it's
So,
true. I mean,
yeah.
your body is very much literally designed to move. And when things don't move, things break down. That's one reason why the strong posture protocols are designed to make you aware of the subtleties that you're not aware of. We spoke about that earlier. That you think that you're moving fully, you think that you're standing tall, but it's almost, until it's more than almost, it's a bit more and a bit more, and things keep on breaking down.
Got it. Awesome. Thank you. So how about your gift? I know you have a gift for everybody. What could you share about what that is? And everyone who's watching and or listening right now, there's a button right beneath this video that links over to your site. So what do you have for us?
Okay, we are coming out with a new public program to help people help themselves strengthen posture. It's 7 steps to strong posture, and it's not yet available. But if you sign up on BodyZone for this month, for the newsletter, we will give you a free week of the 7-week course to try. It'll be on videos at home. It'll be the videos of how to take a posture picture and how to do your BAM, a beginning BAM exercise to check in with your balance and begin to strengthen your balance. Check in with your alignment and strengthen your alignment. Check in with your motion. And BAM 3-2-1 is balance, alignment, motion, because it's a spiral that works together. And strengthening that spiral is what strengthening posture is about. It's not good or bad. It's like people talk about bad posture. That means you're just stuck with it. Or good posture, like, okay, I have it forever.
Right. Yeah.
Posture is the part of the function of your what's called neuromusculoskeletal system. It's what your body does to stay vertical. How strong is that ability? How well can you resist a fall? That's what strong posture is.
Awesome. Thank you. Well, thank you for that.
Sign up,
Yes.
so sign up for that, and we'll give you the first course, the first week of the course for that. And in terms of that, if they're looking for a desk that goes up and down, have them send me an email on that as well. I'll be happy to give them a link that they can save a couple of bucks.
Got it.
Because there's a lot of tools out there that help you to live better, building a strong posture environment as well. And those are the three keys to building strong posture is what we call ACE: awareness, control, and environment. Getting aware of your posture, taking a picture, checking your balance, strengthening your posture control. That's what BAM is about. And building an intelligent posture environment, whether you're doing it at your desk, the way you're using your phone, your car, your bed, your pillow, all the different things that your body interacts with your physicality is your posture environment. Ergonomics is a small piece of a much larger picture.
ACE. Awesome. Thank you. Well, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us today. I really appreciate
You're very
your
welcome.
time.
I very much enjoyed chatting with you.
Yeah. Are there any last insights? Anything else you want to leave people with before we hop off?
Your posture is how the world sees you, and it's also how you see yourself. So stand taller, you'll live longer, you'll feel better, and you'll look better too.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for doing this. And thank you everyone for tuning in, and we'll see you again real soon. Take care, everybody.